universe is not here to block you. It wants you to step into your power. A manifestation of some way, shape, or form is waiting for you on the other side. How can you start to make space for your manifestation now?
From To Be Magnetic, this is the Expanded Podcast with your host, Lacey Phillips.
And your host, Jessica Gill.
As the leading destination for neural manifestation, we dispel the woo-woo in order to help you create real, tangible results based on neuroplasticity, psychology, epigenetics, and energetics. Our goal is to normalize the practice of manifestation and empower you to get into the driver's seat of your life in order to manifest the experiences, relationships, and things that most align with your authenticity. And by pressing play, the process begins.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Expanded. Jessica here. We have another Expander Stories episode where we're going to expand your mind of what is possible, of how to use the TBM work, of how to get in a good mindset when you're doing this work, and just how to see what you want is possible for you. And I'm going to break down a little bit of insight of how these people got there. I don't know about you, but after doing the Strip DI and the Embodied DI over the past week, our two latest launches, I am feeling so much more connected to myself. My energy, my frequency, I guess it's the core essence, truly feels so tapped into what it feels like when I'm like, yes, this is me. This is true for me. This feels right. This feels in alignment. I'm in flow. I'm listening to my pings, even the microscopic ones that are like, do this at this time and change that at that time and move this here. And, just this dance with the universe feels so much more in tuned. And I'm curious for you guys, as I'm going about thinking about my manifestations in 2025 and connecting with them, there seems to be this undercurrent of fluidity. I have these big pillar things, but my type A-ness that typically comes in is a little bit more gentle. The message that keeps coming through in my deep imaginings is you don't have to worry about the how, or is this the right thing, or plotting it all out. It's less of a step-by-step way planned out process. It's in the moment. And the message that kept coming through is get in your energy, get in that excited, interested, curious energy that you feel your true self as, that feels so connected to you. And from that place, decide, is it this? Is it this? Do I do here or here? Do I move this? Do I move this? What ideas come through? And I feel like when I allow myself, set myself up for success in that best way to get into that mindset, to get into that energy that feels the most me, clarity comes through, the ideas come through, what I need to be doing next, the next aligned action comes through. So just a little tidbit for any of you guys, if you're looking on fortifying that, spend some time with the Strip DI and the Embodied DI this week to really sit with that sensation of, okay, what is true me? What does that energy feel like? How would I show up to my life from that place? It's going to be so huge. And just a quick note for anyone, because we got a lot of questions on this. Our big end of year challenge this year was about authenticity. If you're listening to this for the first time, authenticity is exactly the energy I'm talking about. It's who am I at my core? What lights me up? What brings me joy? Part of reconnecting with that is making sure I'm prioritizing the elements of my authentic code and bringing that into my daily existence. So if you have not done the challenge yet, or if you haven't finished, or you haven't completed, or you want to jump back into it, we are going to keep the challenge open well into probably the summer at least. So you guys have a lot of time to really sit with these exercises, sit with these protocols, and really integrate, especially those first 3 weeks. Who truly are you? Especially if you do the first 3 weeks and then you do the integration month. And when you do that integration month, you do the Strip DI and the Embodied DI. I'm telling you, you are going to be set up for so much success this year. you're going to be sending us a voice note on your manifestation story. I can't wait. We have a bit of a sale going on right now. So if you want to get in on the challenge, on our membership, where you have access to literally every single workshop we have, teaching you how to manifest money, love, boundaries, working with your inner child, your shadow work, or even just access to all of our deep imaginings, which helps you reprogram these limiting beliefs, then jump into the membership. And we have our sale going on right now that is going to be closing next week. So if you want to get in for the lowest prices, we're not going to have a big sale like this anytime soon. So sign up, get in on our low prices. It's going to be closing next Thursday, March 6th at midnight PST. So get in there, utilize the tools. They're going to be so important this year. You can go at your own pace. And we're so excited to see what transpires on the other side. Okay, let's get into the episode.
And now a word from our partners.
As you guys may know, my partner and I, Daniel, have manifested our absolute dream dog in a little Labradoodle named Theo who needed to be rehomed. And ever since getting him, we have been on the hunt for the highest quality dog food out there. So many dog foods are filled with synthetic, artificial ingredients that aren't actually real raw foods and aren't supporting their health long term. And we've tested so many brands on the market. Some of them Theo likes and aren't as clean. Some of them he gets sick of after a time. And some of them were just an absolute mess to prepare for him. And then our friend introduced us to Sundays. Sundays dog food is not only one of the cleanest dog foods on the market because it's 100% human grade ingredients, 90% meat, 10% superfoods, including things like pumpkin, which is so good for their digestion, but it has zero synthetic or artificial ingredients. And it is the only food that Theo has been consistently obsessed with. Finishes his bowl every single time he eats it. Even when he has play dates with neighborhood dogs, they come over and beg to get a little bit of Sundays because they think it is so good. He loves the beef flavor. It's 91% beef muscle and organs, 5% fruits and veggies, seeds and grains, and zero filler or synthetics. And has no refrigeration necessary because of their air drying process. You can just pour and serve. Theo has had so much sustainable energy, has been sleeping incredible, and his digestion has been amazing. I cannot recommend this stuff enough. We started weaning him off of his old food and started slowly putting him on Sundays per their recommendation, and it has been going fantastic. And best of all, they have a subscription service, so it can come right to your door and you don't have to go out buying dog food weekly. Make some healthy changes for your pup this year and get 40% off a 2-week trial of Sundays. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/TBM or use code TBM, all caps, at checkout for 40% off your first order. I promise your dog will thank you.
All right, on to the episode. Hi, TBM and the TBM community. I am so excited to be recording this mini process episode and share my journey with all of you. So on my manifestation list, I had deep self-worth, a healed relationship with my body, financial expansion, aligned opportunities, and then my biggest manifestation that I'm calling in is a romantic partner who fully sees me and pursues me. I also wanted more freedom, expansion, travel, impact, and connection, all of which are completely aligned with my authentic code. My authentic code is freedom, expansion, impact, and connection, and travel falls into that. But beyond just wanting these things, I knew I had to become the version of myself who could hold them. So that meant stepping into my true self-worth, trusting expansion, and taking aligned action instead of forcing these things.
Okay, so I want to pause there. I love that this person mentioned how in order to help call in these things, she had to become the version of herself who can hold them. One of the times when we're looking at our manifestations and what blocks us and what is standing in the way, we think we want them. Our soul wants them, our conscious mind wants them, but there's usually a limiting belief in our subconscious of why we can't have it or what we're going to give up or fear of who we have to become to have and to hold these things. So one quick exercise for anyone of how you can figure out what your biggest block when it comes to your manifestation is. If that thing were to come through, the version of you today, are you prepared for it? Does your lifestyle look like it could hold it? Does your habits reflect that it would just seamlessly come in? How are you living today that might be in opposition with these things? For example, and we'll find out how it connects with this person's story, but if you're someone that is calling in travel, but you book yourself back to back to back to back to back, and you never take time off of work, there is literally no space. If a travel opportunity opened up, you wouldn't even have time to put it in your schedule because you work yourself to the bone. So if you were someone that was wanting to manifest travel, but you were acting in opposition, how can you free up intentional space for travel? Even if it's like, okay, after this date, I'm going to start taking 1-day trips just to start the travel and place it in this space. Or maybe at the end of the day, I'm going to have a hard stop with work at 5 p.m. and I'm going to put an hour on my schedule to just research different travel things. How can you start to make space for your manifestation now?
And one thing that has been crucial in this process is having manifestation accountability buddies, which I know Jessica has mentioned a lot on the podcast. And my friends Albert and Katie, I process everything remotely via WhatsApp with them. We frequently meet on Zoom to discuss the work we're doing. And this has just been a huge game changer because sometimes when you're doing the work alone, I think it's easy to overthink things and spiral. But when you have someone to reflect things back to you and to hold you accountable and remind you that you're in a test, it makes everything so much clearer. And I also think, like Jessica mentioned, when talking about WhatsApp, you're not holding space for the other person to respond in that moment. And so then it gives you a chance to truly just say everything that's on your mind. And then I like to star those messages after, like, I do a really good on blocking DI. I'll star those messages in our chat and come back and reflect on them. And it's just really helped me in processing all of this TBM work. And so Katie introduced me to TBM, and she always asks me, okay, these are your mini and majors, but what aligned action are you taking? And so having that extra layer of accountability has made passing tests so much easier. If something happens and I'm unsure if it's a test, I send a quick audio, and usually the response is, obviously this is a test, or what do you think this is? And that reflection just helps me pass way faster. And so having TBM as my safety net and my trust muscle has been incredible, but also having these people in my corner who love me and are also doing the work has been next level.
Love it. Love a good accountability buddy shout out. It's so useful. It's so helpful. It keeps you accountable to your own practice. And we get in our way. We start to second guess things. We don't see them through the lens of the test. We don't see the opportunity. And almost when we just vocalize it, we're like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. So highly recommend accountability buddies if you don't have one already. Invite your friends into TBM. That's what I like doing. I'll just have my friends who don't do TBM yet. I'll just start talking to them about it. And then slowly but surely, they all start doing the work with me.
And so my biggest block that I found during the authenticity challenge this fall was I am lovable and good enough to be chased. I had spent years subconsciously believing that I had to prove my worth. This went into relationships, work, and even how I saw my body. My body image issues have been my biggest core wound most of my life. And with TBM and therapy and my support systems, I am truly like stepping into loving my body. But the breakthrough, I think, started when I joined TBM's Authenticity Challenge in November. We had Integration Month in December. And then I fully embodied my worth and have started embodying my worth in January and now February. And that's when I manifested my most aligned romantic partner yet. And it was truly incredible. But they turned out to be my biggest test yet, which I think is so crazy to think about because it actually hit on the core wound I'm looking at and working on. I am lovable and good enough to be chased because in the end, this person did not chase me, even though they were the biggest expander that I've had yet. So instead of settling, instead of chasing, I recognized that this was a test and I walked away as badly as I did not want to. That was the moment I knew I had truly just rewired my self-worth. And in the past, I would have tried to fix things, or I would have accepted these breadcrumbs. But now with TBM, I step back into my power, knowing that I deserve so much more. And I have no doubt in my mind that my person is coming.
Okay, this is huge. There's a couple of things I want you guys to clock in here. So one, her timeline. She started the challenge in November. She got connected to her authenticity. She started doing the integration month, which is really where the unblocking, the rewiring, utilizing the DIs comes in. She started recognizing the tests in January, and bam, come February, giant manifestation comes through. So this partner was not only her biggest test, but her biggest expander. I also want to note that she called this a major manifestation. So even though it ultimately may not have been the partner that she's going to be with forever, she did in fact manifest a relationship. A lot of times when people are in process of manifestation, they don't count the relationships or the things that come in that might not be the forever thing. Those count. Utilize them. Use them especially to boost your trust muscle. Like, wow, I actually called that in. That is the type of relationship that I actually manifested, I called in, I connected with because of the work that I'm doing on my subconscious. And the biggest, honestly, even probably better than the manifestation, is the fact that when she started to recognize in that relationship that this person was kind of repeating some of those core wound beliefs, that she wouldn't be chosen, that they wouldn't fight for her, that she had to go to them, that she had to chase, she had to be the one to fix it, to go there, to ask for the breadcrumbs, to beg for them. You could tell neural architecture completely shifted, because instead of begging for those breadcrumbs again, she could say, okay, no more. We're done. We're not settling for this. I know my worth now. We are not settling for this energy. And that change, that is gold. That is like the best thing that can happen in this work, is when you can show up to a situation that you used to settle for and say, we're not here anymore. We have grown. We have grown. This is a manifestation in and of itself, just having that realization of change. I'm so happy for this person, and I know that their person is very close around the corner.
One of my biggest breakthroughs was realizing that alignment attracts everything. And since doing TBM, my life has become so magnetic. I manifested my dream apartment. I have called in multiple aligned roommates. I've expanded my income streams and passed huge money tests, like a 10K stipend I got this summer after yet another rock bottom. I've received more work from home opportunities that give me freedom, which is in alignment with my authentic code. Everything came through in ways I never expected. So some of my manifestations were tests first, but then once I passed them, the real aligned opportunities just flowed in.
Okay, pause here for a second. Now we're also starting to see her pattern. Some of her biggest manifestations were tests first. She said no. And then when she passed them, the real opportunity came in. It sounds like one of her patterns is that she actually has to say, I'm not going to settle for that anymore, for the full manifestation to present. So this person can get really freaking excited about the next partnership opportunity because she did exactly what her patterning is. She said no to the partnership that was not aligned, that was asking her to settle for breadcrumbs. And then in her patterning, that means that the person is very close nearby.
And I'm feeling so grounded, so powerful, so magnetic. My life just keeps expanding because I'm trusting this process. And back to my core wound, I'm no longer chasing, but I'm attracting. And so my advice for others, I would get an accountability buddy as soon as possible. You don't have to do this alone. Find people who are committed to growth and check in with them, talk things through, send those WhatsApp audios or get on Signal. Sometimes we can't see our own blocks, even though they're right in front of us, and someone else can reflect it back instantly. Also, your desires are placed in you for a reason. Your job is to just do the work to become that version of yourself, to clear your limiting beliefs, to pass the tests, and just trust that meant for you will never miss you. And if you hit a rock bottom, I've hit multiples in starting this work, and they're painful and they hurt, and you don't feel like you're ever going to get out of them, but just lean in and cry, let yourself cry. Every time I've faced one, it's been a moment right before some huge up level. Listen to the podcast on just up leveled. Here's your protocol. That's such a huge one for your up leveling journey. And the universe isn't blocking you. It's asking you, are you ready to step into your worth? So I hope you enjoyed this. I am so excited for my partner to come in. I have no doubt that they will. And I hope I can be on the podcast one day to tell you all about that process as well. Okay, thanks, TBM. I love you all.
That last line got me a little bit teary-eyed thinking about it. I really want you guys to take that in, to distill that the universe is not here to block you. It's not trying to prevent you from the things that you want. It's not trying to punish you. It's not trying to play a game with you. It wants you to see your own inherent worth. It wants you to remember it. It wants you to claim it. It wants you to step into the driver's seat of your life and say, I do have what it takes. I do have the potential. I am worthy of the things that I truly desire. It wants you to step into your power. So I really hope listening to this person's story, you can just cement that message in. You can really just feel that energy coming through from this person. So expansive.
Hi, TBM. I'm so excited to share some of the stuff that's been coming through for me during this authenticity challenge. I'm working through a major control block, and I'm also avoidant. I'm currently manifesting an aligned career opportunity and an aligned partnership. So when we took inventory of our lives in the first week, I saw that I was holding on to a situationship, which we all know that's not aligned, but I was holding on to it out of comfort. And so I processed that and I broke it off. I processed, and normally I close myself off after a little breakup. I just write it off and I go into a little cave and it's my safety cave. But I was like, no, I want to do this differently. So how can I remain open? So I gave myself a little homework, and my homework was share on YouTube 20 minutes, completely unfiltered, unedited, just share. And so I shared what was going on for me the past couple of months. I outed some of the shadows that I had, and I really felt it, and it was scary. But when I shared it, my community met me with just so much love and acceptance, and they really just loved my authentic self, which is huge for me. So I was able to remain open, and simultaneously, a few hours later, I get an email from a brand that I've always held on a pedestal, and between you and I, I've thought it was like the cool girl brand. They invited me to Hawaii to come out and just hang out for this contest that goes on every year. And mind you, this contest in this location in Hawaii is like fashion week in my industry. And I always avoid it like the plague because I shrink and it makes me feel small. And so I'm kind of laughing with the universe because what a perfect prescription. What a perfect opportunity for me to have to show up in my absolute glorious authenticity, my magnetic power, and hold the hand of my inner child and just shine my loving greatness. So I'm a little nervous. Yes, I accepted the job. This is really exciting. It's like a dream of my inner child, but it's also scary. And so I'm just excited to continuously ground down, to regulate my nervous system and see what comes next. Thank you. Bye.
Ooh, I love this one. Okay, you guys are starting to see the pattern now with the energetics, right? You're starting to see that if I step through fear, if I do the opposite, things will start to flow. That's how I can start to move the energy around me and start to magnetize things to me. So as this person is doing the authenticity challenge, they realize, okay, what's not in alignment with my authenticity? This situationship. So I need to end this dynamic. It's the thing she probably knew she needed to end it earlier, but really evaluating in those first 3 weeks of the challenge, it became obviously clear that this was going to block whatever is coming through on the other side. Not only did she do that, which does create instant magnetism, to step through that fear, to close the door, set the boundary on the thing that you were settling for in the past, But how she used to process was to shut herself down again. If she's leaning towards avoidant, then she's going to continue to be avoidant by shutting down, closing off her heart, etc. Now, in that process, she got a very strong ping in sharing authentically on YouTube. This is how so many different things interweave and interconnect, right? So she didn't necessarily get a ping for, go to this coffee shop to meet this other person that might be someone she'll date. But instead, it was, okay, if your block is avoidance, which means you're fearing intimacy, you shut down to protect yourself so you don't get rejected, what are other ways that you can open yourself up to intimacy, to vulnerability, to truth, to authenticity that isn't necessarily all romantic? Because if you're doing it in one place in your life, you're doing it probably in others. So if she was doing that in relationship, okay, let's look at through the lens that I'm sharing on social. Can I be more authentic? Can I be more vulnerable? Let me try to do the opposite of going in her cave, like she said, and come into her true power. And in doing so, whether the brand directly saw the YouTube or not, it opened up this space to be like, oh, we see you. Okay, look at you. You're doing this. The universe is like, great. Reward. You get to do the brand trip. And not only was the brand trip in complete alignment for her, but it also continues to help her reinforce this new open, authentic, magnetic energy that she's starting to dance with. So this is what I'm talking about when I say the universe is moving faster. When we decide to make a decision to say like, okay, I'm not going to settle for that. I'm going to be in my authentic power. You're not just going to do it once. You're going to do it again and again, and you're going to have another opportunity to do it again and again until it becomes the norm. So when you have these situations where you're like, oh gosh, I used to shrink, I used to avoid, I used to not go to these things, I used to not go to these events, your opportunities to allow your inner truth, allow your authenticity to come out are there for you. If you step towards them, they will meet you there. You just have to get into that place of calming your nervous system, exactly what she's doing, and just reinforcing that your energy is so worthy and deserving. If you're someone who is feeling that, where they're having to step into their authenticity more and more and more and more, our nervous system playlist in the DI playlist section is going to be huge for you here. Really letting your body know that you are safe to actually embody this. And of course, our embodied DI.
Hello, TBM friends. My name is Kaylee. I've been doing this work for about 2 years. And this past year, I have manifested so many things, but the most recent development has been my love partnership manifestation, which truly has been the most amazing experience of my life. I know it's something that a lot of people are looking to call in, and I've been on such a journey this year with that. And I feel like the biggest advice I can give for anybody manifesting is never leave behind your authenticity. And everything you desire is on the other side of that fear of fully embodying that authenticity.
This is the theme of the episode. Embody your authenticity. Everything you want is on the other side of stepping through that fear and actually embodying your authenticity. These are going to be your tests, guys. As we're in that stripping phase, it is saying, am I looking for external validation or am I connected deeply to my truth and I'm going to operate from that place? That is where you're going to get tested this year. That's where you're going to get triggered this year. And that's where you're going to get the opportunities this year. Fortifying that authentic connection is your superpower to connect with everything you want on the other side.
So at the beginning of 2024, I entered into a relationship with a man who I really was expanded by and got a lot of deep healing from. It was my first ever relationship at 24 years old. I soon discovered a few months in that the partner that I had written on my list was not meant to be a man, but actually be a woman. And I remember feeling like this new part of myself that was so afraid to fully be seen really felt secure enough and expanded enough after this experience to finally come out. But also, like a few expanded guests in the past, it really was a coming in to my authenticity. And I had to walk away from this relationship and trust that the universe was going to have the partner that I had written on my list on the other side. So it was June when I decided to leave my now ex partner. Then in October, I met my now girlfriend, who is everything on my list, down to being interested in my world with TBM and the language I speak, as we all do. She asked me about finding her authentic code, and we are able to really see each other in manifesting, and she's so supportive. And everything on the list, down to not being a cat person because I'm super allergic, and like the craziest synchronicities of I would think things or say things to the universe, and 2 days later she would say them. I did a DI, and my higher self told me that she's not here to hurt me, she's here to heal me and really help me on my overall journey. And it truly has been that. I'm so incredibly grateful for this work, because not only do I feel more connected to and supported by the universe overall, my trust muscle is growing stronger every day, but it really is showing me my patterning in everything that I desire that is authentic to me, that is so much better than how I could picture it. My most divine, authentic way to receive this manifestation comes through when I do the difficult thing of stepping through fear and fully accepting my authentic self. For anybody calling in partnership or a relationship or love or all the above, it is possible. It is out there. It is waiting for you. The universe is patiently waiting for you with open arms. And I am so excited for the authenticity challenge and going into 2025 with my list. So thank you, Jessica and Lacey and Janelle, for everything you do. And I'm so excited to see what comes through in 2025.
Oh, I love this one. It's so good. I love the coming into your authenticity. I think this is going to be such medicine for people this year, are those moments of stillness that you can have with yourself, whether you're journaling or doing a DI or just having reflection, or just, we have a little channeling exercise in the Channeling with Lacey portal where you can just sit still and ask, your spirit guides or the universe or your higher self to come in and give you any messages you need to hear. Sometimes that stillness allows you to actually get the clarity of the things that have been kind of whispering so many times. And I'm curious if this is true for this person, but so many times when we have that moment of like, oh, full clarity, this is what I'm supposed to do. And when she realized that her list was actually supposed to be a woman, I wonder how many other times where it felt like almost background music, pings whispering, but she was kind of like, yeah, let's, we don't have to worry about that or think about that. Now's the time to actually think about those things and take them very seriously. Those whispers are actually our true essence trying to like peek through, our higher self trying to guide us and peek through. So what are those whispers saying? And not the whispers from fear. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that feel like your true self is talking to you. Your higher self is talking to you and trying to guide you and help you along in life. The other thing I want to mention here is once this person entered in their relationship in October, it sounds like as they were navigating their relationship and they had normal tests and triggers that come up in every relationship, she had this mantra that this person is not here to hurt them, but to heal them. And we get this question a lot about in relationship, if I have a fight with my partner, or if this doesn't feel aligned, or if we feel like opposites in this direction, does it mean we're not meant to be? But I think it's the way you look at it and approach it. If you see your partner as your enemy, your person in opposition, the person that you're supposed to be pitted against in some way, that they have to conform to whatever you want, otherwise they're a test, you're not going to have a successful relationship. But if you can look at your partner through the lens of, okay, what do I have to learn? How can I heal from this partnership? They're not against me. We're a team. And we are against the fear. We are against the block. We are against the ways we're having trouble communicating. That is when you can have real success. So I just want to put that out there just in case. I'm kind of intuitively feeling some people in the audience might be in that bucket where they're in relationship and they're maybe questioning or annoyed or frustrated with certain things, try reframing to, okay, this person is actually here to help heal me. How can I see this opportunity, this dynamic as a path and a roadmap to my own healing? And really look at the stuff that's uncomfortable to sit with, because that is the blessing. Are you craving the benefits of an infrared sauna but don't have the space or don't want to pay the hefty price of a large sauna in your home? Look no further. I highly recommend Bond Charge's infrared sauna blanket. This blanket has been game changer. I had it in my old apartment and I brought it to my new house, and I truly cannot live without it. I am someone that really, really sees the impact of sweating in an infrared sauna regularly. It can improve your cardiovascular health, help with pain relief, improve your sleep, boost your immune function, help with your skin health and your skin tone, wrinkles. It can stimulate collagen, detoxification, stress reduction, improved mood, increased circulation, and boosted metabolism. I truly see the benefits specifically in my skin and my muscles and my joints. If I'm working out really heavy or if my joints feel really tense and tight and I do the infrared sauna regularly, it starts to feel so much better and more easeful, and I recover faster, specifically from my workouts, from, muscle growth, all of those things, and also detoxification. My skin just glows. I feel better. I feel like my metabolism is boosted because I'm able to digest quicker. It has been so, so helpful and key. And I can really notice the difference on the weeks that I do not use the sauna blanket. Sometimes I can get lazy and not go in there, and I notice, oh man, I'm really missing out on that important tool. And the reason I love Bond Charge's sauna blanket over any others on the market is because, one, they have the lowest EMF, and two, you can go in completely naked. Other sauna blankets, you have to pack layers of clothing on, and even then I feel like I'm moving around my body so often because things are getting too hot in certain places. Bond Charge's has the most incredible layering in their blanket, so you can go in completely in the nude, feel comfortable, don't have to move around, and get your sweat on. If you want to try out Bond Charge's infrared sauna blanket, blue light blocking glasses, their red light protection, any of their other products, they have such incredible stuff. Go to their site now and use code MAGNETIC, all caps, MAGNETIC, for 15% off. Again, that's MAGNETIC, all caps, MAGNETIC, for 15% off. Go to bondcharge.com or check out the link in the show notes.
Hi guys, this is Olivia. So my authentic code has been family, freedom, creativity, and comfort. It changed a little bit when I was pregnant, which, by the way, was a manifestation that I called in thanks to TBM. I've been doing this work since the beginning of 2021. And during this authenticity challenge, I kind of dug a little bit deeper into my authentic code and pulled out nourishment, self-prioritization, innovation, joy, and laughter. And when I think of joy and laughter, it combines with the family part of my previous code. Like, I imagine myself in the home I want in the New Mexico desert with my children running around while I'm cooking, and there's just giggles happening and there's music playing, and I'm making really nourishing meals. Where I compromise my authenticity a lot, but has been so much improved with my TBM work, is in people pleasing, making myself what other people say is okay, which started with my parents. So, one of the things on my list is a second child. And I'm actually thinking of Lacey and her calling in her second child. Both, my children, or my way to children, is also IVF. So I've had a couple of miscarriages as I've tried to attempt a second child. And I had some people ask me, why do you want a second child? I'm currently 42 years old. I had my first baby at 40. And it's really, really hard work. It's really tiring to have a toddler. They're asking me, why do you feel like you need it?
Okay, I'm actually going to pause right here because I see one of her patterns literally playing out in real time. So she had this vision of kids, family, laughter, gathering, all of these beautiful things. And I know exactly what she's talking about. And I'm curious if you guys get this too, but it's almost like in your mind's eye, it's like a premonition almost. You see little glimpses of the sensation of that feeling of what the thing is going to look like. I've actually had that happen as well, specifically with family things. It's almost like a scene playing on top of a scene in front of me. That, when she connected to her truth, her authenticity, all the things that light her up, that is the vision that came through. Seeing that is a very strong sign that it is connected with authenticity because it came through when she's connected to her authentic code, when she's connected to all these things. It's not coming from a lack place. It's coming from like a true sense of this feels so good to me. Now, she said her block was the people pleasing. She said her block was doing what other people say she should do. So when she gets these questions, well, why do you want another child? It's so much work. You're going to be so tired. Do you even really want to do this all over again? And then the limiting beliefs start coming in. So I'm curious to see where this goes, but already I'm like, oh, they just started adding in their perception of what she should do. I'm curious where it tracks from here.
And I'm asking myself that too, because I'm an only child and I have a lot of shadow around that I have been working through with the TBM work. So I guess my question is, am I trying to have another child because I used to be ridiculed for being an only child? Growing up in my day and age, only children were called spoiled and selfish. So it wasn't a good look to be an only child. And I feel some shadow around only having one. Or am I wanting another child because my code and my visualization, seeing a couple kids around me, gardening together, snuggling as a family together, which is part of my code, comfort with luxurious blankets, watching movies together as a family? Or am I getting so hung up on having more than one child? Okay, that's my question. Thanks so much, guys.
Oh, okay. Love this. So good. So authentic to her, wants the child, wants the family, right? Then the people pleasing starts to come in. There's this, oh, well, should I have it now? You know, I'm 42 and it's going to be exhaustive, all of these things. Okay. If she follows down that track, then that would be people pleasing. Now, here's where it gets a little nuanced. She also has a block, a shadow around only child. So here's my hot take. I think 100% the vision of the bigger family is authentic to this person. It is coming from their core essence. They're not trying to manifest it to heal the shadow of the only child. That is almost like a separate entity. It is true for her that this would be a big family space and gathering. And my guess is there might be a bit of control happening in the process of manifesting the second child or in the process of getting pregnant that may relate to that only child shadow aspect. So my protocol for this person is, this is where it's like a both and. You have a bit of a block here and it is true for you. So it's not fully out of alignment. It's not fully external validation. You know, you only want this to heal your inner child story. That doesn't feel true to me. What does feel true is that shadow piece may be blocking why it's taking longer to happen. Obviously, there's divine timing, but I would be curious if this person sits with that shadow part. You can go into the shadow workshop. The Meet Your Shadow DI is great for this. Even honestly, I would go back into inner child and reprogram any shame you had around being an only child and turn it into actually a beautiful magnetic experience. And once you do that, the energy from which you're manifesting the next kid in your family can come from a pure place. It can then come from, wow, this just feels good. I don't need to control how it happens. I know this trusting. I have this vision. I just feel that this is true. And I'm going to listen to my gut of how it can unfold, whether it's through IVF. I mean, I don't want to put this on anyone, but in case it's curious to you, maybe it's adoption, you know, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a way that you can't even imagine right now that allows you to have another kid into the family. Allow the how and the placement to be a little bit more fluid and address that block. And then also have some manifestation boundaries with the fears and limiting beliefs that are coming in. Oh, please write back in. I want to know what happens. I'm so curious. But yeah, and takeaway for other people, when you have a manifestation where you're like, oh, maybe I don't really want it. Maybe it is just from ego. Maybe it is for external validation or to heal my inner child. Well, work on the healing of the inner child. And if you still want it, if it still feels true, if it still feels connected with your inner child, then you are meant to have that thing. Don't talk yourself out of something that is true to your authentic soul. That is so important. I really want that to land with people. Don't talk yourself out of what is actually true to you. If there's external validation and stuff that's kind of murking it up, work on it, look at it, heal it, integrate it, and still be in pursuit of whatever that truly feels so nourishing and aligned. Because then you can go after it from a place of true integration without needing it to look a certain way, without needing to control it, the timeline. You can be in true surrender, really trusting, I got this vision and I really feel like it's going to come through. Okay, let me just listen day by day. What do I need to do to help move that along? Are you getting a ping to reach out to a certain doctor? Are you getting a ping to take a certain supplement? Are you getting a ping to, I don't know. It could be a million different things. There's so many ways the universe can connect you with that. So work on that external validation piece, that shadow piece, and then see what comes through.
Hi, my name's Emma. I'm from West Australia and have been doing TBM for probably a couple of years now. I've really sunk my teeth into the authenticity challenge and it's been my favorite so far. So thank you for that. It's been a beautiful journey and I've learned so much. One of the manifestations that I wanted to call in for this year was actually a free surf trip to the Mentawais, which just seems so not necessarily materialistic, but a little bit trivial. But when you had asked on the form about what that meant to me, it was a reflection of my authentic code of freedom, joy, time in nature, community, meeting with friends. And yeah, it was more about what that represented. And financially, I knew that I couldn't afford to pay my way for this trip this year. So I just thought for fun, I would write down a free trip. And I did get that offer, which is really quite surprising, but beautiful in the same way. I'm currently kind of working through a few tests around that and triggers in terms of a lot of fears I have about, the rug being pulled out from under me and deservingness and, a few other sort of themes that have come up in the testing, which is so funny because I'm actually doing the part of the authenticity challenge this week that's all about tests. So it's actually perfect. So the test that I'm kind of working through now would be the scarcity test. I did manifest something quite fun on my list for this year already. And I believe doing the TBM work has put me in a position where that has come through for me. So thank you for listening. I hope this maybe reaches someone who needs a bit of expansion and just trust that this work really does work. Thank you.
I really love this submission because I think this highlights, again, it's always funny how these come in different themes, but there's this second guessing of our desires. There's this second guessing of this manifestation, especially fearing that it's going to be, in this person's case, egotistical or materialistic. This person really wanted this trip, felt so authentic to them, and almost didn't even write it down because they were like, that's too materialistic. My invitation to you guys, as you are going through this year, as you are going through this challenge, as you are going through your TBM work, where are the ways that you're already stunting your potential? You're already stunting your growth. You're already stunting what's possible. You are almost capping yourself early from what could be so big and beautiful. And I want you to get really clear on that because people do that for a few different reasons. It sounds like this person did this because they thought they couldn't afford it. So that's silly. Why would I even attempt it? Some people do this because they really are terrified of the disappointment of it not happening. I don't even want to ask for it because it would feel horrible to be let down and it not to happen. But this is the moment, this is the time when we should be asking for those deep, soulful, nourishing things that we truly desire. And when this person stepped through the fear and put this on their list, they actually manifested a free version of the trip. And what does that teach them on a soul level? It teaches them to trust themselves, to trust their desires. I would be shocked to see all the benefits that transpired after this person took that trip. What new revelations came through, what new connections or friendships came through, what things about how they want to serve or help in society came through. It's not really up for us to question why we want these things that we want, but trust that in doing so, it is nourishing us in such a big way. Again, like the last submission that was talking about, if there is ego, if there is external validation, I want this trip because I think it'll make me cool, or it'll make me be seen, or it'll make me do this. Okay, address it. Do the strip DI. See who you are aside from this trip, whether you get it or not. It's not even about the trip. It's about the experience. It's about how it makes you feel. It's about your transformation. It's about your growth. It's about your alignment. It's about your ability to step into your worth. So don't question yourself out of the things you authentically desire. You've heard us talk about our Pathway membership, but what actually is it? It is an all-access membership where you can get every single workshop that we've ever created, all of our deep imaginings, which are our reprogramming audios, to help you manifest. You can access it on the desktop or in the TBM app on your phone directly. We, of course, have our foundational workshops, such as our How to Manifest workshop, which takes you step by step through this neural manifestation process to actually unblock, expand, and take aligned action to connect with your manifestations. Our How to Be Magnetic workshop, our Inner Child and Shadow workshops. And then, of course, we have a workshop if you are in a rut, if you're in a rock bottom, if you're in an up level, perhaps you need to set boundaries. Maybe you want to focus specifically on the block of money or love. It is all in there. And then twice a year as a community, we gather for our challenges. Our challenges are one of the most effective parts of the process because you get accountability. It is really a handheld experience in how to work through whatever the theme of that year's challenge is. And now to my absolute favorite part of our membership, which I think in and of itself would be worth the entire weight of the membership if we just had this alone, our Deep Imagining library. This library encompasses over 60 neural reprogramming audio tracks. They're self-hypnosis tracks that will really support you in any step of this journey. If you're needing calming, nervous system regulation, unblocking with a specific test or trigger, going through a difficult time, processing a big emotion, or maybe you just want reinforcing, how to reinforce those neural pathways of confidence, abundance, self-worth, deservingness, and connection with your dream life. And not only that, if you go to the app, we just launched Deep Imagining playlists where we're grouping different themes of DIs together. So no matter what you're going through, you have something for you. And we're constantly dropping new playlists as well as brand new Deep Imaginings. And if you need more support in your process, you can go to our brand new video series, Channelings with Lacey, where she touches on the exact energetics that are going on right now in manifestation and how it may apply to your life. So obviously, I am a huge fan of this membership. The peace of mind I get from being able to have all the tools I need at my disposal, no matter where I'm at with my life, if shit's hitting the fan, if I'm feeling dysregulated, if I'm needing to come back to my center, if I'm needing to brainstorm or daydream or connect with what my vision for my future is, every single tool is in there to support me. And don't just take my word for it. We have thousands of testimonials of people who have had incredible success stories with these tools. So take the guesswork out of your manifestation process and get real tools that are going to give you real results. For podcast listeners only, you can use code EXPANDED, all caps EXPANDED, for 20% off your first month of the pathway. Join now and have your best year yet.
For a while, my focus was calling in a really aligned partner. my great big love, I called it. I felt expanded and unblocked. I knew there was some aligned action I needed to take, but still confused and frustrated about why I hadn't yet attracted this person. Toward the end of last year's manifestation challenge, there was a podcast episode on letting go. While revisiting it and listening to it for the second time, I had the ping to get rid of a letter and a story about a past relationship written by an ex of over 15 years ago. I had no interest in this person anymore, but I realized I was holding on to these items because they made me feel good when I read them. It wasn't until the podcast that I recognized I was holding on to them out of fear and lack, a fear that I might never experience those feelings again, so I was subconsciously keeping them just in case.
Oh, so good. Also, so proud of you for making this connection and correlation, because it's not always easy to see the connection and the correlation between things. But what she's saying here is the energetic weight of why she was keeping around these things was basically to communicate to her subconscious from a place of lack. In case I don't ever get this kind of romance again, I want to keep this to remember what the romance once felt like. It's basically like recognizing that you're holding on to something because you don't think something better will come along. And so I want to put this out there to anyone. When you take inventory of your space, of your home, of your belongings, of your material items, how many things do you have in your space? Do you keep there just in case nothing better comes along? It's so interesting the weight that these little physical things have because they are reinforcing a story in our subconscious that's blocking us. One of the steps in the How to Manifest workshop is clearing space. So take a little bit of inventory, especially if you feel stagnant in one of your manifestations. I know a lot of people have been writing in recently in their magic dark, which means they have had a lot of tests come through. They've had some magnetism, they've passed some tests, and then it seems like crickets. One of the biggest protocols through the magic dark is doubling down on your authenticity, doubling down on your joy, what lights you up, and getting into your authentic power again. And one thing that can help move some energy as well is to clear out the old stuff that is no longer you. What do you have physically around that doesn't represent you anymore, that you can start to let go of, that you can start to shed, because it's also going to be shedding a limiting belief and an identity that you've been reinforcing.
Once I recognized that, I set aside an evening, read the letter and the story, allowed myself to soak in those feelings, and then I wrote down the qualities and how I wanted to feel moving forward in my next relationship. Finally, I burned everything, letting it all go. A week later, someone I followed on Instagram reached out to me. I was always drawn to them as a person and enjoyed their online presence. We started a really organic friendship that naturally evolved into a romantic relationship, embodying everything I had written down. I'm a non-specific manifester, so for big things like this, I focus on the feelings I want to experience. With this person, I found the ease, playfulness, humor, safety, and mutuality I'd been longing for. I wanted to share this because it wasn't obvious to me at the time that I had such attachment to these items because I wasn't at all attached to that person. Maybe hearing this will help someone else have a similar breakthrough.
I have chills. This is so good. Do you guys hear that timeline? A week later, 1 week. 1 week. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be your timeline. Everyone has a dance, especially when you're calling a partner, you're also calling in that person's timeline as well. But hold that expansion in your mind that it is possible that that thing you're putting off doing, that fear you're procrastinating stepping through. I mean, you've seen this time and time again in this episode. When the person finally takes a step through the fear, they are delivered with something else very, very quickly after. Even if it's not the full manifestation yet, it is something. Something is coming through. So if you are that person who's been procrastinating on that thing, who's been putting it off, who's been saying like, yeah, I know I got to look at it, but I'm not going to do it right now, or I'll do it in the future. Why wait? Why are we waiting? You know that you will be rewarded on the other side. Use that as your North Star. That, okay, this is scary, I'm going to have to step into a new version of myself. I'm going to have to let something go. I'm going to have to use my voice. I'm going to have to step into my power. It feels uncomfortable, but I know Jessica told me, Lacey told me, there is something on the other side. It's coming. You will see the reverberations of this very fast. And I'm telling you, I am seeing this happen all over, especially right now. The momentum is so clear. The invitation is so clear. The steps are so clear. 1, connect with your authenticity. Who are you at your core when you are not performing or looking for external validations or attaching to material things to make yourself good enough? Who is your essence? Who is your energy? What is your light on this planet, in this moment, in this time? Who is your soul? Connect to that. 2, what is the fear in your way preventing you, holding you back to those old stories, those old limiting beliefs that you are not stepping through? What is the opposite is the medicine that you need to step through, and step through it. And then 3, you will be rewarded. A manifestation of some way, shape, or form is waiting for you on the other side. It is that, oh, finally, you're moving in alignment with your true self. Congratulations. Here is something that is going to let you know that you are in the right path. Boom, boom, boom. And it's happening fast, guys. It is happening fast. So step through those fears and see what transpires on the other side. I'm so excited for you guys. I know this year has felt really heavy in a lot of ways. I know that it can feel terrifying in a lot of ways. It feels unprecedented in a lot of ways. And we still have our own internal power. We still have our own potential to transform. And I truly believe the only way we get through challenging, difficult, heavy, confusing, hard times is to connect with that self first, connect with our truth first, our purpose, whatever that looks like, no matter how big, how small, whatever, and then act from that place. That is how we take our power back. That is how we don't sit in the fear cycle of procrastination, of waiting, of second guessing, of just sitting in this fear. What is the action we can take now? And I believe if we can all take action, stepping through that fear that is aligned with our authenticity, we will create miracles. Truly, miracles will happen in your life. Oof, what a good one. I'm sending you guys so much love, and anyone in that magic dark, I know there's a lot of people in there. Connecting to that authenticity is key. Connecting to that energy is key. Connecting to your light is key. Don't let the quietness scare you. You are close. The word keeps coming up is like fortify. Fortify that connection to self. Fortify that inner confidence. Those reinforcing DIs. Those DIs that are going to sit with like your inner child DI, your validation DI. Like sit with those parts of you that are feeling uncomfortable in that magic dark, but then really step into your power. Because when you can step into your power when you don't have the material reflecting back, once the material reflects back, it's going to just feel 10 times better. Okay, have a good week, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode today. And why we have you, if you have another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we encourage you to pop into your TBM app and do a deep imagining. You are already in a hypnotic state. You've been listening to something. Maybe you've been listening and driving, listening and doing some house chores, listening and going for a walk. Put in that DI and get that subconscious reprogramming in. If you've listened to this episode today and you want a DI that's specifically suited for career, for money, for mindset, any of those things, hop into our DI playlist and I would go into the confidence boost. Really connect with your authenticity right now and figure out what is from that place. Or if you really want an immersive experience, I would check out the Channeling with Lacey portal and do the strip DI or the embodied DI. That embodied DI is going to be my reinforcing DI for the next couple weeks. So I hope you guys enjoy.